Now, hopefully that gave you some ammunition in order to be able to sell, right, internally for the value. And once again, we'll send out the recording of this after the session and send this PowerPoint out to all the attendees as well. But next, we're going to dive into governance, collection strategy, and different types of innovation process that you can employ. So the big questions that you're probably asking around governance are, who are we going to engage? Is it going to be the whole company or a subset? Are we going to continuously collect ideas or only collecting them at certain times of the year? The steps to approve or disapprove an idea, how do we evaluate ideas and select them? And then what's the handoff process look like? And finally, incentives. So quite a few subjects to cover here. So let's dive right in. This is what we're going to do is just provide best practice. There's going to be nuances associated with these, but happy, like I said, to answer any questions after the webinar or on a follow-up call. So should we engage the entire company or a subset? If what we found is best practice is if you're over 5,000 employees and you have never launched one of these programs before, it's often best to do it within an individual department, as long as that department has over 500 employees. If you're under 5,000, we suggest just going to the entire company right away. The amount of effort that you're going to put in is going to be relatively similar for doing the entire company versus a subset if you're under that 5,000 person threshold. And you're going to get a lot more benefit around the cross-functional collaboration and just sheer number of ideas, right? The sample size that you're tapping into of ideas, which is going to produce a better result for you. For the collection strategy, really there's two different types of collection strategy. You have continuous, oftentimes this refers to like continuous improvement programs or the general suggestion box that people think of. And then you also have periodic and time-based on the other end of the spectrum. Here are some examples of the periodic and time-based collection strategies. So you have hackathons and Shark Tanks, ideation and design thinking workshops, or online campaigns and challenges. So they're time-based, they're only open for certain times of the year, either biannually, quarterly, or oftentimes actually just once a year. And then outside of that, you do not have ideas being posted or collected in the company. There's advantages and disadvantages to each. But if you look at the benefits of continuous in collection, never miss out on a good idea. And employees are not, they're always going to have a place to go, right? To share and have that outlet. The downsides of that though, is it's really hard to keep up engagement when it's not scheduled around those time-based events. You're often going to receive ideas not related to strategy or goals. And you can receive, especially upfront, an overwhelming number of ideas and then miss progress communications, which we're going to cover is the single greatest factor when looking at long-term success of these programs. When you're doing periodic or time-based collection, the benefits of that is you can control the influx of ideas. It's easier to get buy-in actually from leadership to start a program. You can sell it from a standpoint, it's not going to be a continuous cycle of ideas. We're just going to do this twice a year to begin with, test it out, and then see how well it works. And it also is going to result in higher engagement rates on average because you're treating it like a special time-based event and you can market it as such. The biggest disadvantage of doing the periodic or time-based events is that it's going to be harder to regain momentum in between launches of these initiatives. So if you're only doing a hackathon once a year, it's really easy to sideline that hackathon in year 2 or year 3 due to other priorities versus if you have something continuously going. Our suggestion overall is if it's possible, if you only have one or the other option to get started, doing periodic and time-based collection is ideal, but then quickly going and getting continuous collection in between those periodic and time-based collection events is what we found works best and also reduces the chances that you're going to basically have the hackathon or Shark Tank that's annual get postponed if you have something that is continuously open.